We're talking financial scams. And I'm going to talk you through some of the three top financial scams at the moment and what you can do to best place yourself to not fall victim to one of these scams. The way you fight these scams are financial education and financial literacy. And that's what we're going to be talking here tonight. Now, the first scam, a common theme that you'll see through all three of these scams is a sense of urgency. They want to rush you. They want you to make a quick decision. They want you to make a bad decision. So keep that in mind as I'm talking through some of these scams tonight. There always is a sense of urgency, a sense of rush, and they're trying to rush you into making a bad decision. Now, the first type of scam is what I'm calling a credibility scam, where the scammers are using not quite digital AI, but they're using celebrities, they're using public figures to help promote a particular scam. And more often than not, they're promoting a cryptocurrency platform or they're promoting a trading platform. They're saying, hey, invest your money with us. Such and such has invested with us. It's a safe bet. And so the key things with these credibility scams is that they're trying to use figures that you know, use figures that you trust, and that you think because these public figures are making these kinds of investments, it's also safe for me to make some of those investments as well. So that's a scam. I'll give you an example of some of the scams that we've seen here under this celebrity credibility scam. So the first is this one using the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, 52 million in new trading platform stating Aussies are entitled to this government-backed benefit. This was a scam. That was a recent scam. Another one is using celebrities like Sophie Monk and Robert Irwin, and the scams are actually getting really good. So look at the detail they've put into this Sophie Monk one. They've got the news.com.au heading up the top, and they've got the Today morning TV show information down the bottom. They're going to a lot of effort to make these scams look really creditable. Here they're using business figures now. Gina Rinehart, latest investment has experts in awe and big banks terrified. And another one, Twiggy Forrester. So again, all these examples are using public figures, well-known figures, to try and encourage people to invest in their particular trading platform or a particular cryptocurrency, and they eventually just steal all your money. So it's really, really horrible. And what we've seen, I'll show you an example of an article here. So here, for example, move this over here. Here, for example, really sad story. Retiree tricked out of $140,000 as more Aussies fall victim rapidly. And importantly, on these celebrity scams, $900 million. $900 million these scumbags took last year. Really, really sad. Really, really sad. Really, really horrible. And you see Australians being warned to be tricked into signing up into investment schemes promoted by celebrities and politicians. And I've highlighted a passage down here. They were calling him up to 4 times a day to get the retiree to invest. Now, again, there's this tactic that they use, this sense of urgency. You've got to invest now. You've got to invest now. You've got to miss out on this opportunity. Really, really sad to see. That's what the scam is. Now, what do you do around these scams? How can you identify these scams? The best way to stay protected from these scams. So the best tips that I would give for these scams are... So the first one, would a celebrity promote a financial product in Australia? Now, not many people know this, but if in Australia, and in Australia specifically, if you are going to promote a financial product, so if you're going to say, hey, you should invest in that thing right there, or hey, you shouldn't buy this kind of investment, that is direct financial advice. In Australia, if you're going to make those sort of claims, you need to have an Australian financial services license. You must have those. That's the difference between, there's a big difference between providing general educational advice and providing specific financial product advice. So in Australia, I'm going to tell you, the celebrities, they will not have their own Australian financial services license. So if you ever see a celebrity, a public figure promoting these platforms, and all these promotions are normally happening on social media, some sort of advertisement on social media. If you're ever seeing that, it's almost always generally a scam because they will definitely not have an Australian financial services license. Now, it is different in other parts of the world. Rules are a bit more relaxed. Here in Australia, consumers are quite protected in that regard. So that's the first tip I would say. Now, the second thing I would say, do not rush the decision. You never have to make a financial investment. You never have to make a decision that you're not comfortable in. And even if you think it's okay, take 24 hours to think about it. do a bit of research. So for example, in this Anthony Albanese one, just do a quick research and type it in, and you can see here the first 4 headings: bizarre Albanese deepfake, retiree tricked out of 104,000, Albanese impersonated. So just by taking a little bit of extra time and taking a little bit of research, you can squash these scams pretty quickly. So credibility scams, they're all about using people that you trust, using public figures that you think you can trust. And what I would do to make sure you're aware, the financial literacy around that is, it's very unlikely they're going to have an Australian financial services license, so it's likely to be a scam. And take your time, take a breath, do a little bit of research before you make any decision. Now, the second financial scam we're going to talk about tonight involves property. And it's a very, very clever scam, because in this scam, what the scams are doing are inserting themselves into a transaction. So it could be that you're buying a house and they're inserting themselves into that transaction. It's very clever. It's very clever because your guard is already down. Your guard is already lowered. You're expecting emails from lawyers. You're expecting emails from real estate agents. You're expecting to make payments and pay deposits. So your guard is already down in these sorts of transactions. So it's really, really clever. And so what they're doing, and mind you, $40 million stolen from everyday people last year by these dirtbags. So what they're doing, so popular property scam on rise. It's nearly every Aussie fooled. If we scroll down here, we'll see recent victims have included a Sydney couple who lost $970,000 in a settlement scam, while another buyer in Western Australia lost $732,000. The typical settlement scam involves a hacker posing as a buyer's solicitor or selling agent and providing them with new account details for the transfer of upfront buying costs like deposits. Pretty clever. They're inserting themselves into a situation where you're already expecting to pay money. So what can you do about these sorts of scams? To look out for with these kinds of scams: last minute changes of bank details, urgency, there's that word again, urgency of payment demand, altered email addresses, unsolicited, unverified requests, getting an email, getting a request out of the blue from somebody. Those are the things to look out for if you're in one of these transactions, if you're buying a house. And what I would say, if you're unsure, if you get an email from someone, you get a text message, whatever, requesting payment, if you're really unsure, this is what I would recommend. Do not respond or do not use the communication that they have communicated to you with. So if they've sent you an email or if they sent you a text, do not reply to that email, do not reply to that text, because that could just be the scammers have infiltrated and you could be communicating direct with the scammers. So if you've received an email, we'll say ABC Lawyers, what I would do is obtain verification almost like through a third party. So they'll normally identify themselves because they're trying to make it look really professional. So look it up on the internet, Google ABC Lawyers, Google the organization that has emailed you, see if they have a valid website, a valid website. See if they've got Google reviews, and then what I would do is go into that. They normally have an office number. Call that number. Call the office number and ask, "Hey, I've received an email from X, Y, and Z. Can I please speak with them?" And speak with the person directly. So that's what I would do. If you received a request for information and you're just unsure, verify that person through a third party or through a third door. Don't respond to them directly with the communication they've given you. Call their office, try and find out if the person's real, if it's a legitimate request. That's what I would recommend in that situation. So the first type of scam, we've got people trying to extract money from you. Second type of scam, we've got people inserting themselves into the transaction. This third type of scam is what's called a phishing scam, and this is where you have been contacted out of the blue. So the first one is a little bit different to the celebrity scam because it's normally a social media advertisement. You're engaging with that advertisement. The third one is you just receive a text message out of the blue. And we can blame all the companies that have leaked all our data through all these cyber attacks for this. I get messages all the time, really, really annoying, but this is something to keep in mind. So common ones that you'll see here are things from like messages from, at the moment you get messages from MyGov or the tax office, or I've been getting messages from Australia Post lately as well. So again, they're trying to use that credibility. They're trying to use organizations you would trust. And this one's normally a text message. And so here's an example of one where your tax return has been filed electronically. To check your refund, go to blah. Again, there's another one with the post office at the moment with a similar vein. Now, with these types of scams, what they're trying to do is get you to normally click on a link. So if you've received someone communicating they've reached out to you out of the blue, never click on any link from someone you don't know out of the blue. Never do that. So what they're doing is trying to get you to click on this link and either provide personal information that they can use in some other scams, or they just install malicious malware on your device, that sort of thing. So these are called phishing scams, and again, they're coming to attack you. They contact you out of the blue. So my recommendation here would be never, ever, ever click on a link, respond to someone that's come out of the blue and it's asking you for money, it's asking you for personal details. Never, ever do that, okay? That's a phishing scam, and especially don't click on a link. And the Apple iPhone's pretty good at nowadays. You can just hit report spam and delete straight away as soon as you get one of these text messages. Again, if you're unsure, you can always call up the tax office. You can always call up Australia Post and say, hey, I got this message. What can I do? But again, a quick Google will show you that's a scam. So those are the 3 scams tonight by these dirty scumbags. 900 million taken last year in the celebrity scam, 40 million taken in this property scam. Give you a bit of a summary on what were the key takeaways from tonight. The first was anyone promoting a financial product in Australia will generally be a scam. You need an Australian financial services license. Do not rush. Take your time. Do a bit of research. If it's a good investment today, it's going to be a good investment tomorrow. So there's no need to rush the decision straight away. Do a bit of research. With the property scams, I'll call it third party or third point verification on who's communicating with you. And it could be legitimate, but it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to make sure. So Google the website, Google the company that's contacted you. Hey, so I've received an email from XYZ. Can I speak with them, please? That sort of thing. And the final one, someone's contacted you out of the blue. Never click on a link. Never give any personal details. It's normally always a scam. Hope you found that useful. If you did, please give the video a like and share this video with someone else. The only way to tackle these sorts of things is with financial education and financial literacy, and that's what my YouTube channel is all about. Thanks for stopping